Hello and welcome back. It is now the second half of my 100th episode, 100 question AMA. There were too many questions and I answered like a person with ADHD. So I split it into two. And if you haven't heard the first half, nothing is really going to change for you. You can start here, you can start there. It doesn't matter. It's questions and answers. So I'm going to jump back in with childhood questions. I sorted these into categories. Who was your favorite K-12 teacher and why? I had a lot of really good teachers. I'm trying to feel if any one of them was like an absolute favorite. And the answer is no. I loved most of my teachers. It's really hard to just like pick a favorite. So I guess I'll say Mrs. Idabrew for senior year AP English. We have the same birthday, which is great. And she was, I don't know, I loved her class. I loved her teaching. I felt really empowered to write in there. And we read a lot of stuff that has continued to stick with me. But also Mr. Quaid, who was my junior honors language arts teacher, was great. Like English teachers were generally pretty good. Did not love my 9th grade one. My 10th grade one was like fine. But junior and senior year English teachers were really great. My Spanish teachers were always great. My sophomore biology teacher, Mr. Ayler, was one of my favorites. AP biology, Mrs. Nemo was one of my, like just fucking everybody. I loved everybody. Loved most people. What did you want to be when you were 10? A vet. And then I realized that I did not want to operate on or euthanize animals and was like, perhaps not the right choice. Well, maybe a vet was further into like high school or middle school. Maybe when I was 10, I wanted to be a teacher, which is, that tracks. That tracks. I do a lot of teaching. If you could change one pivotal moment in your life, would you? And if so, which one and why? Again, we're going back to like, my novel is literally about this. It's about if you had the ability to change one moment in your life, what would you do with that? God, it's so hard because as much as I don't think that I needed my trauma, but I do think that if I hadn't been in the relationship I was in, I wouldn't have met the people that I've met. And it's just really fucking hard to say. Ooh, nope, I got one. I would go back to a night that I went out clubbing in July 2019 and saw a guy there and thought he was beautiful and amazing, thus beginning the most toxic 6-month situationship since my abusive ex-husband. And this guy did about the same amount of damage to me in 6 months that my ex-husband took 7 years to do, which is very impressive. But honestly, I can't put that all on him. I was as traumatized by the 6 months. Like, he wasn't specifically nefarious or villainous in any way. But our relationship was extremely triggering to me. So yeah, that little pivot in how I describe that there, we call that growth. Cause I would love to just say that he's a giant shithead, but he's an average toxic masculine kind of misogynist guy. And I could have noticed that sooner. So I would go back and just catch myself in the parking lot and be like, no, don't kiss that boy. Don't touch that boy. Don't stay out till 2 a.m. hoping that boy smiles at you. Don't do any of that stupid fucking bullshit. No. Never meet. Don't even go to that party. No, because if we didn't go to the party, no, we got to go to the party. Party was great. No, don't touch that boy. Great. Woo. Questions about my healing journey. So this question says, explain how the feeling of safety in your life has transformed internally and externally. Some of these you can tell are from people who know me really well and are like, I'm just going to get in there. So how my feeling of safety has changed is that I feel like the safety comes from me, that like I can find security and safety in any tumultuous circumstance because I've been through a lot of shit. I've left 2 husbands. I have moved a lot out of uncomfortable living situations. I have cut off both my biological parents. Like, I have burned it to the ground and started over enough times that I know safety is not something that comes from around me. Safety is something that comes from inside me. And that has been a huge factor in healing and taking just loving responsibility for myself and my circumstances. Like, things happen and how I react to them is on me. And I know that like, even when it super duper sucks, even when I'm broke, even when like, I don't know how I'm going to pay bills, I have always figured something out. And it's not always just like survival. It is safety that I am creating for myself. Like, I'm not in a survival mentality. I am in the awareness that I create my safety for most things. Like, whatever, if a bus hits me, I can't like think my way out of that. But for most things, most safety and security and like fear things are coming from inside the house with my anxiety and my exciting brain who has a lot of great ideas about how terrible things can go. So reminding myself that like I make the safety has been very helpful. Is there a particular reason your eating disorder is named Carl? If not, have you found naming your eating disorder to be beneficial? Yes. So I wanted to name my eating disorder something that sounded like, a pretty simple name. Like, I didn't want to name him like Waldo or Aloysius. I just wanted it to be easy. Yellable, right? Like, you can hear somebody going like, Carl! You can hear a yell of Carl. And over time, Carl, the eating disorder, has kind of morphed into Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, who is just like a shitty neighbor. I guess they're shitty neighbors to him. He might be a perfectly normal human being. But in any case, I just wanted like a name to put the distance there. And I'll talk about why the distance is important. But also, I didn't want it to be the name of somebody I knew, and I don't know any Carls. So he became Carl. And it sounds like, listen how fucked up this sentence sounds. Carl says I can only eat 2 eggs a day. Carl says I'm not allowed to drink a pop. Carl says that I should have a glass of water to see if that settles my stomach instead of eating something. Right? These sound like kind of a controlling partner or controlling authority figure. Carl says I can't eat until noon, even though I'm hungry at 11. No, that's all fucked up. And that is what has helped me, is being able to put that amount of distance between my brain. Well, I believe I can't have a second Dr. Pepper in one day. I believe I can't have eggs for breakfast and then also eggs if we're doing breakfast for dinner again. Like, I believe that's really hard for me to like get in there and be like, well, is that true? La, la, la. And of course I can. Like, I have a lot of tools to examine my thoughts and beliefs and reframe them. I can do that all fucking day long. But what's really easy for me, this is like a shorthand to that, is saying like, Carl, it's like imagining if Donald Trump like said something about how your belly looks in a crop top, right? You're like, well, good thing it's not for you, Donald Trump. If you say you don't look good in that crop top, now you got a conflict. Now you got a fucking problem. But if Donnie says it, you're like, this is not for you, my guy. And then you go on about your badass day. That is what separating Carl from myself has done for me, is getting that bit of separation from the belief and being able to see it as something outside of me, like a belief that was installed in me by diet culture, by my mother, by boyfriends who wanted me to be thinner, etc. I can be like, that's not my shit, that's other shit. And then I can address it that way. So that's why Carl is Carl. How have you made lasting change to live your best life? What a question. I decided to be my own friend. If I wouldn't behave in a certain way to a friend, I should also not behave that way to myself. Do you have a mantra that you say to yourself when you feel low or self-doubting? Kind of being my own friend again. Like be my own bestie, or I can do hard things. That one is from the Cheetah book. That's all I got. Jesus Christ. She's married to Abby Wambach. Like, what's her name? It is not Elizabeth Gilbert. It is not Brene Brown, who is the lesbian. Oh my God. It'll be in the show notes. I cannot think of the author's name. It's not Big Magic. Big Magic is Elizabeth Gilbert. We can do hard things. There you go. I'm going to put it in the show notes where that comes from. What are your favorite ways to compliment something without mentioning their body? So I love that. So smile and laugh. Fashion. Glasses, really cute tights or leggings, cute outfit, like whatever, piercings. So like you can comment on physical appearance in ways that are like controlled. I would not say like you have a nice ass, except I absolutely say that to certain people, right? But like I wouldn't tell a stranger like your butt looks really good in those jeans unless I was drunk in a bathroom, because that's drunk in a bathroom behavior. Positive, not creepy. These are my parentheticals. But like if I wanted to compliment someone on their appearance in walking down the street, in a restaurant, whatever, at the library, I would choose something that like they have control over, such as their jewelry, their hair, their glasses, the clothing that they are wearing. But beyond that, like without mentioning their body or appearance at all, which this question only says body, but I feel like it extends into appearance. So I'm going to answer that question too, which is like complimenting someone on the vibe. Like I love how optimistic you are. I love that you are always reading. Like you have so many incredible perspectives because of how much you have read and experienced of other worlds. You can love someone's music taste. You can be like, I like how you, when you aren't sure how to express something, you can relate it to a show that we've watched together or a movie that we've seen. Like fucking anything. Like we talked about in the first half of this episode, inspiration is anywhere. And honestly, if you ever find yourself like in a conversation or just observing another person and they do something that makes you feel like, oh, I love that about them, tell them. Tell them right now, right in that moment, because they don't hear it enough. And you don't say it enough and you don't hear it enough. So I'm going to tell you right now, I fucking love your vibe. You light up a room. Love you. Okay, the next question is, walk us through your gender journey. So that's fun, which, oh boy, my gender journey is similar to my sexuality journey, in which I thought I was just straight because that's normal. Heavy air quotes. And so I assumed because I was not like, I was boy crazy in puberty. I wasn't girl crazy. And so I was like, well, it must be straight because I don't want to date women. It turns out I'm more of like a slow burner with women, but that's fine. I was on my college GSA, like our gay straight alliance, which now they're called gender and sexuality alliances. That's way better. But ours was the Gay Straight Alliance. I was on the board. I was like the treasurer or the secretary or something as a straight ally. Hilarious. And then after college, I married my first ever boyfriend, the first man who ever kissed me or touched me, married him because I got to lock that down. Didn't think anybody else would ever love me and thought it was a fluke. So awesome. Would not do that again. Then we opened our marriage. And we went on like a double date with this other couple. And I assumed that I would date the husband and my husband would date the wife. And then it turns out I started dating the wife. And I was like, oh, okay. I like this. This is good. And yeah, sort of realized like, okay, I'm bisexual. And my gender journey was very similar. So that was like, I knew I wasn't a dude. So I assumed I was a woman because I was raised with those two options. Like, you're a boy or a girl, you're a man or a woman, you are XX or XY. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Then like mid-20s or so, I stopped shaving. Like, I stopped shaving my legs and my armpits. And I stopped wearing a bra for a while because I was like, it's just not comfortable. Like, I just want to wear tank tops. I don't like performing all of this stuff, and I shouldn't have to. And I also don't really wear makeup. Like, I was never like an all-day face of makeup person. I'll put on some fun eyeshadow and lipstick, but it's like I do it as a creativity, not as a, this is what I need in order to go out in the world. The way that like my mom would. Like, my mom would make sure to put on her makeup before we went grocery shopping. And I was always like, why? Like, we're just going grocery shopping. And she's like, I cannot leave the house without putting on my makeup. And that just had never occurred to me. And so as I was like in my mid to late 20s, just being like less and less performative about womanhood, I realized again in my early 30s that the fact that I think binary gender is just made up and silly is enough of a gender identity to be like, I do not ascribe to the binary. And so I'm non-binary because I'm like, that's weird. I don't think you should have to be one or the other. I think it's fluid. I think it's a spectrum. I think there's a lot of nuance to gender identity and expression. And I'm not here for being like, you're doing woman wrong. Okay, well, guess I'm not a woman. Haha, joke's on you, bitch. I simply just do not vibe with the binary. And that's my gender journey. I will say that shaving my head was bad. That was bad for me. I like my longer, like my hair. I don't know if you're new here, you haven't seen, my hair used to be like roughly this much, and it was like chin length and blonde curls. So I had like just this kind of, I called it a floof, just my floof. And the sides and back were shaved down. And then I was like, just once in my life, I'm going to shave my head. And I shaved my head. And at first I was like, oh, all right. Okay. We're edgy. We're cute. We're good. And I was like wearing lipstick and big earrings and stuff. And then now that it's in this stage where it's just sort of like growing in and looks like I might have it this length on purpose, I just feel like it looks bad. And it doesn't look like me. And that's causing dysphoria. And I'm not sure if it's gendered, but it is causing a problem. So there's that. Coaching / business questions. So these are questions that pertain to like my job. And I just sort of put them here. There's only like 5. So how do you get over the fear of charging what you're worth if you're terrified nobody will buy? You have to believe in that price. It does not matter if your price is $50 or $50,000. If you are like, it's 50, is that okay? That energy is not going to sell. If you're like, this is $50. You're like, and that's a fucking steal, my guy. Oh, suddenly we're interested, right? But that is a really good question. And I want to do a deeper dive into that on its own podcast. Next question. If you could give every person in the world one singular thing, tangible or intangible, what would it be and why? I would give them 2 hours a day just for whimsy. Next question. Why does capitalism suck donkey testicles? Thank you for this colorful one. Capitalism sucks because it is designed to extract labor and make maximum profit, which means that if labor costs can be reduced or can be shimmied around to cost as little as possible while maximizing the labor it can extract, it's going to do that without caring about the human element. And it's super fucked up. And also, please buy my book, The Gaslighting of the Millennial Generation, where I begin to touch on this. I I was kind of hedging my bets in the book a little bit. I was like, I'm not strictly anti-capitalist. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I have grown as a person. I'm willing to say this and take up space out loud that I am an anti-capitalist because capitalism is killing us. Okay, great. Bye. If you had to choose 3 words as your core values, what would they be? So I actually did an exercise on like core values once, and I forget what they are right now. So I'm going to say intuition, compassion, and trust. We're going to go with that. How do we get involved with your brand / stuff? What all do you offer besides the podcast? Oh, buddy. Oh, I keep making stuff. So there's so many things. Free stuff that you can get is the podcast, the YouTube show, my pen pal list where I talk to my pen pals, and what else? The Neurodivergent Creative Pod is a group on Facebook that is a free group for neurodivergent creatives. We are about to start adding more stuff there, like recurring monthly calls and such for different like interest groups, right? So there'll be like an art one and a writing one and Animal Crossing one, like whatever. So those are all free things, and those are all great ways to get like familiar with my work. And then as far as paid stuff, I have various groups. I have one-on-one coaching. I have the writing incubator. I have a membership. That's kind of in flux right now. I'm doing some updates to how I'm operating that membership. So stay tuned, but it's pretty rad. And basically, yes, if you like my vibe on the show, you will like my vibe in person, and you should come hang out. Yay. Okay, great. Next up is chaotic questions. Questions that I felt did not really align in any other category. If you were color, what color would you be? I think I would be like a very high saturation bubblegum pink. So like not a highlighter hot pink, but like a Pokemon pink. How many teeth do you have? The normal amount. My wisdom teeth are gone, and I am not missing any teeth. So whatever the normal amount is. What is your favorite pop culture cat? Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What is your opinion on thongs? I asked for clarity on this, whether they meant shoes, like flip-flops, because in some countries they call those thongs, in which case, pro-thong. I love flip-flops. I live in flip-flops whenever the weather is warm enough to permit flip-flops. We are entering sock season again, and I am a little bit sad. But if it is thongs, the underwear, I am anti-thong, because get out of my butt. Has there ever been a movie remake that surpassed the original? I cannot think of one. If reincarnation is real, what would you want to come back as in your next life? If I was another human, I would want to be similar to me. I would want to help people and teach people and inspire people. But if I was going to come back as like an animal, I would want to be some type of cat, like a big cat, like a tiger or an ocelot or a jaguar or snow leopard. Yeah, I'd be a cat because cats are dope. And they get to take naps. Do you believe in aliens? Yes. Do you think humans should inhabit other planets? No. I think we made our bed and we should fucking lie in it. What is your nature element? This is tough. Because I want to say water. But I don't know. I don't know how you tell. Is there a test for this, or can I just vibe with it? Because water. I'm going to say water. Would you visit the Bernheim Giants? I had to look this up. This is like a natural sculpture forest thing in Kentucky with structures that look like giants, and they're made of like trees and wood and nature stuff. And yes, it looks awesome. Let's do it. Let's go. If you had 24 hours to do anything you want and money was no object, what would you do? I would go out to a really awesome dinner. I would leave a 100% tip. And I would walk up to random people on the street and hand them like $100 bills and just be like, I hope you have a good day. That sounds dope. I love this. Also cake. I would like some cake. If you could come to Earth again with your brain, with your knowledge stored in your human brain in an animal's body, what would you want to be? So my human brain and all of my knowledge in an animal's body. Would want to be something, a parrot, I guess. I got parrots on the brain. Plus I've been watching that parrot who is like learning stuff and he's like, that's metal. That's red. Metal. Glass. I love him. So I could potentially communicate my human thoughts through my bird mouth. In a movie about your life, who is playing your cats? Must be humans. Oh my God. French Toast is played by Paul Rudd. Empress is played by Aubrey Plaza. And Brunhild is played by Daisy Ridley. There you go. That's what you get today. Probably different answers tomorrow. Would you want your consciousness to live on through technology after you die? A lot of you guys are asking me about what's going to happen to my knowledge when I die, and I don't love it. But also, maybe, I don't know. As long as I don't have to do the work, like if you just like kind of have my brain and somebody could like sit in a room with my brain and just get intuitive messages from me through meditation, sure, why not? You can have it. What is your favorite planet and why is it Pluto? It is Pluto because people fucking underestimate Pluto, and I think that's rude. If you could be a bird, you guys, if you could be a bird, where would you go and who would you visit? Either for good reason or revenge ones or both. And what kind of bird would you be? That's so specific. That's why this is in the chaotic question section. Okay, so I'm a bird. I guess it would be something that like could fly long distances, right? And I just go like fucking check up on people, like observe them, like I'll go see what my dad's up to. I'll just be like, hey. And then if he's doing dumb shit, I'll poop on his car. Or I could just be a parrot and live in my house and make my boyfriend feed me crackers. That sounds pretty good. Both options. If you were going to die, stop killing me in these questions. If you were going to die in an hour and couldn't say goodbye to anyone, what would you do for that hour? I would hang out with my dog. You get to punch one politician with zero repercussions. Who are you smacking? His name rhymes with bitch McConnell. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why? The ability to like pause time, because I would like to pause time, take a nap, and then wake up and reset time and have not lost any of my day, but feel more rested to do my tasks. If you were a flavor of ice cream, what would it be? A flavor that embraces the essence of you. I feel like I'm kind of like a Superman vibe, right? Because we've got some like good flavors there. Not the kind that's just dyed vanilla, but the kind that actually has different flavors in the different colored swirls. But also like maybe like a mint chocolate chip, because I'm also divisive and people who love me really love me and people who don't love me want nothing to do with me. And that is correct on both counts. If you could snuggle any animal with no danger consequences, what animal would you pick? A cheetah or a jaguar, some type of big cat. What candy do you wish you could yeet into the sun, never to be heard from again? I'm sure I have a better answer, but all I'm getting is Necco wafers because they're just chalky nonsense. Okay. And finally, we have questions about me as a person. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Go pee. What's the last thing you do before you go to bed? Brush my teeth and wash my face. Do you feel either of those aids or harms your productivity? I definitely like my bedtime routine of washing my face. Sometimes in bed, I'll like do a Sudoku. on my phone. And that can harm my productivity because once I'm done with that Sudoku, sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I'm not super tired yet. Let me just go see what's going on Facebook. And then it's like 2 a.m. and I've been watching reels. That's a problem. Don't do it. And my morning routine, honestly, is also hindered by my phone. So if I can get up and start my day without looking at my phone, it's a more productive day. If you could learn any language in the world, what would it be and why? I would like to be fluent in Spanish instead of just knowing Spanish, but not quite knowing it enough to like be fluent. If money was no object, what would your life look like? So much more naps and probably like a meal delivery service or hiring a fucking chef because I'm so tired of cooking. Do you know that you have to buy groceries and cook dinner forever until you die? What the fuck? That's a hate crime. What does a day in the life of Kate look like? I get out of bed, I go pee, I do my morning pages, which right now I'm doing this guided 11 weeks of intention morning journal and workbook. My friend and client Shannon Winters produced this and sells it on Amazon, and I fucking love it. So it's got 2 pages of morning pages and 1 page for a tarot spread or an oracle card spread. Which I like a lot because it gives me a chance to like get my thoughts out. And morning pages in The Artist Way by Julia Cameron are 3 pages, but I like the 2 pages and then the tarot pull or the oracle pull because I like making the space for that. That's been a good practice for me. And then you can like make a little to-do list for the day and like set your priority and talk about like how you're feeling. There's a spot for an evening reflection. I'm not so great at doing the evening reflection part, but I am doing the morning pages. And then if Brennan has already walked Gwen, I just go make breakfast. If he hasn't already walked Gwen, I go walk Gwen. And then I make breakfast. And I am at my desk usually by 9:30 or 10, ready to start working. What is one goal you are happy to complete on a regular basis? Novel day. Every day I have like a really good, productive novel day without letting myself get distracted. My phone is the villain of my story, honestly. There's so much good, distracting dopamine in here. But every novel day that I get a few hours of writing done, I feel really good about that. Have you ever been arrested? No. What was the last book that made you cry? The Undead Truth of Us. What's the meaning behind your last name? Again, people who know me asking pointed questions. I changed my last name to Fisher. I was not born with the name Fisher. And after my divorce, I wanted to choose a name that had not been given to me or forced on me. I wanted to pick it for myself. And I used to have a lot of attachment to my birth name because like our lineage is not going to continue because my dad had 2 daughters. And so if neither of us have children with that last name, then that line dies out. And I used to be very, very concerned about that. Subsequently, I'm no longer very, very concerned about that because my life is my life. And I don't talk to my dad anymore. So like, why do I need to carry on his name or anything or be attached to it? Because there's a lot of trauma and drama there. We don't need to get into that. But one thing that really, really impacted my life is that after Carrie Fisher's death in 2016, she died in December 2016, there was just so much posting and content and everything coming out about her and her advocacy for mental health and taking medication specifically. She was very, very open about taking medication for her mental illness. And I finally, after like a year of being like, oh, I'm so scared to go on meds. What if it changes me? What if I don't like who I am on medication? I finally got an appointment with a psychiatrist. I went on meds in December 2017. And 3 months to the day after I started Lexapro, I left my abuser. And the butterfly effect of how that happened is that Carrie Fisher inspired me to get help for my mental illness. And the clarity that the medication gave me allowed me to see what was mental illness and what was being constantly gaslit and abused. And she saved my life. She just saved my life. And I really appreciate that. And I really identify with her and I love her. And I took her last name on my terms and my choice. And I decided I was never going to change it again. So even if I do get married again, I'm not changing it. It's Caitlin Fisher forever and ever. We're almost done. Just a few more questions. What are your big 3 astrological signs? I'm an Aries sun, Pisces moon, Scorpio rising. What's a song that you loved in high school but now hate? And a song you hated in high school but now love? So it's not like love turned to hate, but I recently re-listened to Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy, and I think that song is pointless. It's like an adult woman trying to like write a diss song about another adult woman who was like peer pressured in high school into not dating a guy she liked. Who fucking cares? It was high school. Like, she didn't bully that guy. She didn't break his heart. She wasn't mean to him. He liked her. She also liked him, but her friends were shitty about it. And so she decided not to pursue him. And Avril Lavigne was like, I'm going to make a hit song about this. What the fuck? It's a bop, but it's a dumb bop. And a song you hated in high school, but now love. Man, I'm going to say like everything by NSYNC, because I was of the childhood opinion that you had to pick a boy band. And so I was a Backstreet Boys girl back when I was a girl. And no, NSYNC also rocks. I love both. You can love both. Both and. Do you dream in color? Yes. I also sometimes dream in Bob's Burgers episodes. What is your all-time favorite food to cook? Lasagna. If I make you lasagna, I fucking love you. I love you so much. And I need you to tell me that you're really impressed with my lasagna. Okay. I think that that's it. I think that's all 100 questions. Yes. Okay. And now I would like to shout out the people who asked. Haha. Okay. Almost done. Riley Moonfield, Katie Garcia, Sheila Sisko, Carrie Birch, Daphne Kamek, Connie Ostrich. So sorry, Connie. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Katie Potter, Ashton Powers, Lindsay Hutchinson, Melissa Marie, Anne-Marie Lindsay, Gidget Fisher, Melanie Harrison, Bunny Morningstar, Theodora Vanyar, Lily Manuel, Jessica Darling Hansel, Saray Rodriguez, Elliot Love, Ann Foistel, Sydney Phoenix, Mia Fidecaro Henriot, Andrea Harloff, Karen Anderson, Kathy Johnson, Jamie Lyerly, Valerie Bayless, Nelson Broadhead, Sarah Yost, Sam Adams, and Marzi Margot. Thanks for being here. Stay hydrated. I hope you learned something amazing about me. Please tell me something amazing about you in the comments, or if you're not on YouTube, I guess you can't tell me anything about yourself. But I love you, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.